The gavel slammed down like a thunderclap in the stifling courtroom, echoing off the wood-paneled walls of the Maplewood County Courthouse. But it was the gasp from the back row that sliced through Christian's heart sharper than any verdict. "You're ruining everything we built," Adam whispered, his voice cracking like fragile glass under the weight of betrayal, eyes locked on the man who'd promised forever just 6 months ago. In that frozen instant, as the judge's words hung in the air, forgery confirmed, arrest warrant issued. Christian realized the American dream they'd chased wasn't a house with a white picket fence, but the fragile trust now crumbling beneath it. Christian Harper had always believed in second chances, the kind that bloomed like wildflowers through cracks in concrete sidewalks, the resilient grit of the Midwest bleeding into his California roots. At 32, he'd carved out a life in Maplewood Hills, a postcard-perfect suburb 30 miles east of San Francisco, where tech bros commuted to Silicon Valley and families picnicked under ancient oaks on weekends. The neighborhood was a bastion of order. Manicured lawns clipped to military precision, solar panels glinting on every roof, and an ironclad homeowners association (HOA) that enforced it all with the fervor of a small-town sheriff. It was here, in a 2-story Craftsman with blue shutters and a porch swing creaking in the bay breeze, that Christian and Adam had planted their flag 2 years prior, defying the whispers that trailed gay couples like shadows at dusk. Adam Ellis, 3 years Christian's senior at 35, was the anchor to Christian's dreamer soul. A civil rights attorney with a firm jaw and eyes the color of storm-tossed Pacific waves, Adam had grown up in the Rust Belt hollows of Ohio, where football fields doubled as town squares and love like theirs was preached against from pulpits every Sunday. He'd clawed his way to Berkeley Law on scholarships and sheer will, emerging as a fierce advocate for the marginalized, the trans kids fighting for bathroom rights, the immigrant families dodging ICE raids. When he met Christian at a pride rally in the Castro, amid rainbow flags whipping in the wind and bass-thumping anthems, it was like fate handing him a blueprint for redemption. Christian, an elementary school art teacher with paint-speckled jeans and a laugh that could disarm a room, painted not just canvases but people, drawing out their hidden colors with gentle questions and shared sketches. Their courtship was a whirlwind of stolen weekends. Hikes through redwood groves where Adam confessed his fears of never belonging, and Christian revealed the ache of his parents' divorce, the way it had left him sketching solitary figures in notebooks to fill the silence. They moved in together after 6 months, a commitment sealed not with rings but with a joint lease and a promise whispered over takeout pad thai. "We'll build something real, something that lasts." Maplewood Hills seemed the perfect canvas, affordable compared to the Bay Area's skyrocketing rents, diverse enough on paper with its welcome all signs, yet insulated from the chaos of urban life. The HOA board, chaired by Karen Whitaker, a peroxide blonde realtor in her mid-50s with a smile like polished granite, had approved their application with a curt nod and a stack of covenants thicker than a phone book. First, it was idyllic. Mornings began with Adam brewing coffee strong enough to wake the dead, while Christian sketched lesson plans at the kitchen island, charcoal smudging his fingers as he dreamed up murals for his third graders. Evenings blurred into barbecues with neighbors, the affable Patel family next door, whose kids chased fireflies in the twilight, and old Mr. Hargrove across the street, a retired vet who grumbled about kids these days, but slipped Christian tomatoes from his garden. Karen lived 2 doors down, in a McMansion festooned with American flags and garden gnomes dressed as pilgrims. She hosted the monthly HOA meetings in her cavernous living room, where folding tables groaned under potluck casseroles and agendas ran long on debates over fence heights and holiday light limits. The cracks appeared subtly, like hairline fractures in fine china. It started with the rainbow flag Christian hung from their porch for Pride Month, vibrant stripes fluttering against the eucalyptus-scented air. By week's end, an anonymous note appeared in their mailbox. Standards matter. Remove or face fines. Adam laughed it off at first, framing it as small-mindedness in a sea of progress. Let 'em stew, he'd say, pulling Christian close on the swing, their fingers interlacing like puzzle pieces. But the notes multiplied. Complaints about their unruly flower beds, wild poppies. Christian's nod to native flora. The bass from their jazz records drifting on summer nights. Even the solar-powered bird feeder that attracted unsavory pests. Each violation tallied fines, chipping away at their savings like relentless waves on a cliffside. Christian felt it first in his chest, a dull pressure, like the prelude to a migraine. He'd always been the optimist, the one who saw beauty in broken things, but these jabs wore him down. One evening, after a particularly venomous email from the HOA board accusing them of disrupting community harmony, he found Adam in the garage, hunched over his laptop, jaw clenched like a vice. "It's her," Adam muttered, not looking up. "Karen. She's got half the board in her pocket, old money, church ladies, the works." Christian knelt beside him, tracing the tense lines of Adam's shoulders. "We fight it. Together." Their kiss was fierce, a reclaiming, bodies pressing close in the dim glow of the bare bulb overhead. But even then, doubt flickered like a moth against the light. The turning point came in late spring, when the HOA proposed a heritage amendment, a clause mandating traditional family values in all community events, code for sidelining anything that smelled of inclusivity. Adam, ever the strategist, volunteered to speak at the next meeting, armed with precedents from landmark cases like Obergefell v. Hodges. Christian tagged along for moral support, sketching idly in his notebook as the room filled with folding chairs and the scent of Karen's signature lemon bars. She presided from a makeshift podium, her cardigan prim as a nun's habit, voice honeyed with false warmth. "Maplewood Hills is a family-first community," she intoned, eyes sliding past Adam like he was a smudge on her spectacles. When his turn came, Adam stood tall, words steady as he dismantled her rhetoric with facts and fire, quoting the Fair Housing Act, invoking the ghosts of Stonewall. The room shifted. Murmurs rippled like wind through wheat. "Mr. Hargrove nodded slowly. The Patels exchanged proud glances. Karen's smile never wavered, but her knuckles whitened on the gavel. As applause scattered like confetti, she announced a vote deferred for further review. Driving home, windows down to let the cool fog roll in, Adam hooped, fist pumping the air. Christian leaned over, kissing his temple. "You were magnificent." That night, they made love slowly, reverently, hands mapping familiar terrain, breaths sinking like a shared heartbeat. Felt like victory, like the suburbs' walls were finally cracking to let them in. But victory in Maplewood Hills came laced with arsenic. 2 weeks later, a certified letter arrived, an eviction notice, citing material breach of covenants via fabricated violations, claims of unpermitted renovations, their porch swing, original to the house, and noise disturbances logged on dates they'd been out of town. The documents bore the HOA seal, signatures crisp and official. Adam's face drained of color as he scanned the pages. "This can't be real." Christian's stomach plummeted. It was the first thread pulled, unraveling the tapestry of their peace. Little did they know, Karen's forgery wasn't just ink on paper. It was the spark that would ignite a blaze, testing the bonds of love against the fury of hidden hate. Summer draped Maplewood Hills in a golden haze, fireflies winking like conspirators in the gathering dusk. But for Christian and Adam, the season carried the metallic tang of impending storm. The eviction notice sat on their kitchen counter like a venomous spider, its legs splayed across legal jargon that mocked their dreams. Adam dove into research mode, his attorney's mind a scalpel slicing through bylaws and statutes, while Christian played the rock, cooking hearty stews, tending the garden with a ferocity that bordered on therapy. Each yanked we'd felt like defiance, roots torn from soil that no longer welcomed them. They attended the emergency HOA meeting in Karen's living room, the air thick with potpourri and unspoken accusations. She greeted them at the door with a smile that didn't reach her eyes, her perfume cloying as funeral lilies. "Gentlemen," she drawled, the word laced with frost. The board members flanked her. Edith, the treasurer with bifocals perched like binoculars. Tom, the vice chair, a paunchy contractor who avoided their gaze. And Lila, the secretary, whose neutral expression hid a rumored affair with the pool guy. Christian squeezed Adam's hand under the table, a silent vow amid the folding chairs arranged in rigid rows. Adam presented their case with the precision of a surgeon. Timestamps disproving the noise logs, photos of the untouched porch, affidavits from neighbors attesting to their quiet tenancy. "This is harassment, plain and simple," he concluded, voice steady as granite. "And if these documents hold, we'll see you in federal court for discrimination." Murmurs swelled. Mr. Hargrove cleared his throat, muttering agreement. The Patels nodded vigorously. Karen leaned forward, her manicured nails drumming the agenda like Morse code for malice. "Appreciate your passion, Mr. Ellis. But rules are rules. The board will deliberate." Deliberation stretched into weeks of radio silence, broken only by passive-aggressive flyers taped to lampposts. "Preserve our heritage. Vote yes on amendments." Christian found solace in his classroom, where third graders smeared acrylics across easels, their laughter a balm against the suburbs' chill. One boy, Javier, with eyes like polished onyx, shyly showed him a drawing of two stick figures holding hands under a rainbow. "Like you and your husband?" the child asked innocently. Christian's throat tightened. "Something like that, buddy. Love comes in all colors." He hung the piece on the fridge that night, a talisman against the fraying edges. Adam, meanwhile, burned midnight oil at his firm downtown, poring over precedents until his eyes blurred. Their intimacy shifted, less languid explorations, more urgent anchors, bodies seeking reassurance in the dark. "I won't let them take this from us," Adam murmured one night, his head on Christian's chest, heartbeat a steady drum beneath his ear. Christian stroked his hair, inhaling the faint citrus of his shampoo. "They can't. We're more than this house." But doubt gnawed, a quiet beast in the belly. The betrayal slithered in unannounced, courtesy of Lila. She knocked one muggy afternoon while Christian was weeding the front beds, sweat beading on his brow like dew. In her 50s, with salt and pepper bob and sensible flats, she looked every inch the neutral observer until she pressed a manila envelope into his hands. "Don't tell Karen I gave you this," she whispered, glancing over her shoulder at the McMansion's lace curtains. Inside, drafts of the eviction docs, timestamps revealing alterations, Karen's looping script on sticky notes, "Make it stick, E and T sign off, forgery, black and white. Christian's pulse thundered. He texted Adam, "Come home now. We have proof." When Adam arrived, tie loosened like a noose undone. They pored over the pages on the living room rug. Wine forgotten on the coffee table. "This is gold," Adam breathed, a spark reigniting in his eyes. "We take it to the board. Demand an audit." Christian pulled him close, their foreheads touching. "And if they bury it?" Adam's kiss was answer enough. Fierce, affirming, promise etched in salt and skin. Emboldened, they scheduled a public hearing. Flyers distributed door to door under cover of neighborly chats. The Patels pledged support. Mr. Hargrove grumbled but committed to testify. Even Tom, the vice chair, pulled Adam aside at a block party, muttering, "Karen's gone too far. Count me in quietly." The night before the hearing, they walked the neighborhood's willow-lined paths, hands brushing, stars pricking the velvet sky. "Remember Ohio?" Christian asked softly. Adam chuckled, low and warm. "Cold winters, hot cocoa by the radiator. You'd think I'd miss it. You don't. Not with you. You're my summer." The hearing packed Karen's living room to suffocation. Standing room only, fans whirring against the July heat. Adam laid out the evidence like a prosecutor's closing. The drafts, the timestamps, witness statements. Gasps rippled as Lila took the stand, voice trembling but resolute. "I couldn't stay silent. This isn't right." Karen's facade cracked then, a flush creeping up her neck, eyes darting like cornered prey. "Slander," she sputtered, but the board's murmurs turned to outright dissent. Tom moved for an immediate recess. Edith seconded, her bifocals fogging with nerves. As the vote loomed, suspension of the eviction pending investigation, Karen cornered them in the foyer, breath hot and ragged. "You think you're heroes? Parading your lifestyle, corrupting our children." Adam stiffened, but Christian stepped forward, voice even. "Lady, the only corruption here is your lies. We're just trying to live." Her laugh was brittle, a shard of glass. "Live? You'll regret this." The threat hung, but they walked out into the balmy night, arms linked, the community's tentative applause trailing like fireflies. Relief was a heady wine, but it soured swiftly. That weekend, as Christian prepped for a school art fair, his phone buzzed with a text from an unknown number. "Watch your back." Some truths cut deeper. Attached, a grainy photo of Adam, laughing with Tom at the block party, hands on shoulders in brotherly camaraderie. Christian's gut twisted. Paranoia or prelude? He showed Adam over dinner, Thai basil chicken steaming between them. Adam frowned, scrolling. Photoshopped vibes. Ignore it. But sleep evaded Christian that night. The ceiling fan's blades chopping shadows like unanswered questions. Monday brought the audit results. Discrepancies confirmed. Karen's signatures flagged for forensic review. The board voted unanimously to void the eviction, issuing a formal apology in the neighborhood newsletter, a regrettable error in process. Jubilation bloomed, high fives from the Patels, a gruff "well done" from Hargrove. Adam framed the letter on their mantel, a trophy of triumph. To celebrate, they drove to Muir Woods, redwoods towering like ancient sentinels, hands clasped on the trail. "We beat the dragon," Christian said, leaning against a trunk rough as hope. Adam's eyes softened. "With you, I could slay 'em all." Yet the dragon's shadow lingered. Whispers at the grocery co-op. Karen's furious. Talking lawsuits. Anonymous emails trickled in. Leave while you can. Christian buried it in sketches. Portraits of Adam's profile. Fierce and tender. Lines blurring into abstraction. Art was his exhale. The place where fear dissolved into form. One evening, as rain pattered the roof like impatient fingers, Adam found him in the studio, charcoal dust haloing his hair. "You're creating again," Christian smiled faintly. "Gotta keep the monsters at bay." Their embrace was slow, a dance of rediscovery, lips brushing collarbones, sighs mingling with thunder. Love, in its quiet ferocity, was their truest rebellion. But rebellion invites retaliation. As autumn leaves turned the streets to flame, Karen's countermove struck, not with documents, but with something far more personal, a revelation that would fracture the fragile peace they'd forged, testing if love could withstand the blade of betrayal. Autumn in Maplewood Hills painted the world in incendiary hues, oranges bleeding into crimson, leaves crunching underfoot like brittle secrets. Christian and Adam's victory over the eviction had thawed the neighborhood's frost. Neighbors waving from driveways with genuine warmth. The Patels even inviting them for Diwali sweets that spiced the air with cardamom and cloves. The HOA newsletter ran a follow-up. Unity prevails. Board commits to transparency. Karen, sidelined to advisory status, was a ghost at meetings, her McMansion's lights dimmed like a sulking fortress. Life, for a breath, tasted like redemption, a second chance wrapped in fog-kissed mornings and shared sunsets from the porch swing. Christian threw himself into the school year, his classroom a riot of clay sculptures and watercolor washes, where kids like Javier coaxed stories from scribbles. Mr. Harper, does love always win? A girl named Sophia asked one afternoon, her pigtails bobbing as she molded a heart from dough. He paused, smudged thumb on his chin. Not always easy, but yeah, it fights dirty if it has to. Her grin was a sunburst, echoing the one Adam wore lately, lines around his eyes softening like wax under flame. Adam's caseload lightened, freeing evenings for runs along the bay trails, where gulls wheeled overhead and the salt air whipped confessions from their lungs. "I was scared we'd lose this," Adam admitted one twilight, sneakers pounding gravel in sync. Christian matched his stride, breath clouding in the chill. "Me too. But look, we're still here." Their high five lingered into fingers twined, a jog dissolving into a walk, shoulders brushing like old lovers. Home meant takeout from the Thai spot, drunken noodles tangled like their limbs later, laughter bubbling over reruns of The Golden Girls. Adam's head in Christian's lap, fingers combing through sun-bleached waves. The fracture came on a Tuesday, ordinary as dishwater, shattering the idol with surgical precision. Christian arrived home early, arms laden with grocery bags, kale for Adam's smoothies, heirloom tomatoes for bruschetta, only to find the front door ajar, a sliver of shadow spilling onto the stoop. His heart stuttered. He nudged it open, calling softly, "Babe, forgot your key again." Silence answered, thick as unspoken dread. The living room was untouched, but the office door hung crooked, papers strewn like autumn debris. On Adam's desk, the manila folder from Lila, now empty save for a single printout, an email chain, time-stamped months back. "Tom," it read, "need your sign-off on the Ellis Harper docs. Make it airtight, K." Below, Tom's reply, "Got it. Coffee tomorrow?" Discreet. Christian's vision tunneled, the words blurring into venom. Coffee, discreet, descrolled, nausea rising, messages laced with familiarity. Tom's buddy sign-offs, a photo attachment. Adam and Tom at that block party. Not grainy fabrication, but clear as accusation. Arms slung casual, grins too wide. The front door clicked. Adam, home from a client lunch, loosening his tie with a whistle. Hey, artist, whatcha got planned for din? His words died at Christian's face, pale as milk. Chris, what's wrong? Christian thrust the printout forward, hand trembling. This. You and Tom. Discreet coffee. How long? Adam's eyes widened, then narrowed in confusion, snatching the page. What the hell? This is Chris. It's nothing. Work talk. Strategy against Karen. But the timestamps lied. Dates predating the hearing. Tones veering personal. Miss our chats. Man. Life's too short. Betrayal bloomed hot and immediate. A thorn bush in Christian's chest. Strategy? Or something else? The words escaped. Laced with Ohio ghosts, Adam's ex. The one who'd cheated with a colleague. Leaving scars Adam swore were healed. Adam recoiled as if slapped. You think I'd, after everything? God. Chris. It's forged. Like the eviction crap. He lunged for his laptop. Fingers flying. But Christian was already backing away. Groceries forgotten on the floor. Tomatoes splitting like hearts. Forged? Or just convenient? You've been distant. Buried in this fight. Maybe it's easier with someone who doesn't rock the boat. The argument erupted. Words flinging like shrapnel. Adam's voice rising in defense. I've bled for us. Late nights. Lost sleep. Christians cracking with hurt. Bled? Or hid? Plates clattered in the sink later. Dinner abandoned. Christian retreating to the studio. Door locked against the ache. He sketched furiously. Adam's face. Distorted. Eyes shadowed with secrets until charcoal snapped. Black dust staining his palms like guilt. Adam knocked once. Softly. I love you. We'll fix this. Silence was Christian's reply. A wall thicker than suburbia's covenants. Dawn brought no mending. Adam left for work with a kiss to Christian's forehead. Feather light. And a murmured talk tonight. Christian nodded. Numb. Driving to school on autopilot. The fog mirroring his haze. Class dragged. Javier's drawing smudged under his careless hand. Sophia's question echoing like indictment. Love wins. Right? He forced a smile. It tries. Lunch was solitary. Phone buzzing with texts from Adam. Pulled Tom's emails. Clean. Trust me? Christian typed maybe. Deleted it. Pocketed the device. The afternoon unraveling came via Hargrove. Phoning from his landline. Voice gravelly with unease. Boy, you hear about the meeting? Emergency 1, Karen's pushing back. Claims sabotage. Christian's grip tightened on the receiver. Sabotage. Yeah. Says someone leaked docs to you too. Tom's denying. But. Whispers. The line crackled. Hargrove's sigh heavy. Watch yourselves. Hanging up. Christian's mind spun. Lila's envelope. Tom's emails. Coincidence? Or a deeper rot? He confronted Adam that evening over half-eaten pasta. The printout between them like a guillotine. Adam explained, patiently, then pleading how Tom had been an ally. Coffee meets to plot against Karen. Nothing more. Check my calendar. My texts. I swear. Christian did. Scrolling through banal entries. Tom, Strat Sesh. 2 p.m. No hearts. No heat. Relief trickled in, but suspicion lingered, a bitter aftertaste. Why hide it? Christian asked, voice small. Adam reached across, palm upturned. Didn't want to worry you. This fight's toxic enough. Their hands met, tentative, then firm, a bridge rebuilt on shaky pilings. Forgiveness was a process, not a switch. Nights stretched taut, intimacy reduced to side-by-side silences on the couch. Schitt's Creek flickering like false normalcy. Christian poured hurt into art. A series of suburbia portraits. Karen's smile cracked like porcelain. Tom's eyes evasive as fog. Adam's face a study in fractured light. One canvas captured them both, backs to the viewer. Standing on the porch, the rainbow flag tattered but defiant. It's us, he told Adam, unveiling it by candlelight. Adam traced the brushstrokes, throat working. Beautiful. Broken, but whole. Their kiss reignited then, slow as embers, bodies remembering the language of trust. Yet the fractures deepened externally. Karen's emergency meeting convened in the community center. Fluorescent buzz underscoring her tirade. Internal threats undermine our values. She waved doctored affidavits, sworn statements from anonymous residents claiming Adam and Christian's aggressive advocacy bordered on intimidation. Tom squirmed in his seat, avoiding eyes. Lila was absent, ill. The board fractured Edith defending process, others calling for calm. Adam stood to rebut. Voice a whip. This is deflection. Audit the forgeries. Not us. Cheers mixed with booze. The room a powder keg. As they filed out, Karen blocked the door, her gaze serpentine. You think you've won? Maplewood has ways. Christian's skin crawled, but Adam's arm around his waist was steel. Driving home through leaf-strewn streets, they debriefed in hushed tones. She's cornered, lashing out, Adam said. Christian nodded, but unease coiled tight. That night, sleep claimed him in fits. Dreams of crumbling foundations, Adam's hand slipping from his. Morning mail brought the blade. A sheriff's notice. Not for them, but pinned to Karen's door. Arrest warrant for document tampering, based on forensic matches to her printer's unique ink signature. The neighborhood erupted, sirens wailing, neighbors clustering like crows. Christian watched from the window, coffee mug warm in his hands, Adam's reflection beside him. It's over, Adam whispered. But Christian's gut whispered back. Is it? For in the ruins of betrayal, real and imagined, love's true test was just beginning, unearthing not just forgeries, but the hidden fractures within. The arrest unfolded like a scene from a gritty indie film, blue and red lights strobing across Karen Whitaker's pristine lawn, deputies in starched uniforms cuffing her wrists as she spat invectives at the autumn sky. Maplewood Hills froze in collective shock, neighbors peering from behind curtains, phones aloft capturing the spectacle for neighborhood Facebook groups that exploded with speculation. Finally, the witch is done, and what about the rest of the board? Christian and Adam watched from their porch, mugs of chamomile steaming in the crisp air, the siren's wail fading into a Dopplered echo. Karma's a Bay Area bitch, Adam quipped, but his arm around Christian's shoulders trembled faintly, relief laced with the residue of war. News trucks descended by noon, local affiliates like KPIX beaming live from the cul-de-sac, reporters in blazers accosting the Patels for soundbites. A blow for community trust, Mr. Hargrove told a mic, his vet's cap tilted defiantly. Lila emerged from seclusion, granting an exclusive to the San Francisco Chronicle. I handed over the drafts because right is right. No one should live in fear of their own home. Tom's resignation hit the wires next. A terse email citing personal reasons, whispers linking him to deleted emails that forensics later tied to Karen's scheme. The HOA dissolved into chaos. Emergency elections called. Covenants under review for inclusivity clauses. For Christian and Adam, the immediate aftermath was a strange buoyancy, like surfacing after a long dive. Fines refunded with interest. The rainbow flag rehung prouder, its colors vivid against the turning leaves. School buzzed for Christian. Kids reenacting the big arrest with finger cuffs and dramatic gasps. Javier declaring, "Mr. Harper, you're like a superhero." He laughed, ruffling the boy's hair. "Nah, kiddo, superheroes have partners." Adam's firm toasted him at happy hour, partners slapping his back over IPAs. "You didn't just save your house, you exposed a syndicate." That night, they cooked together, Adam chopping garlic with theatrical flair, Christian sautéing mushrooms, wine flowing like forgiveness. Dinner devolved into dessert on the rug, jazz crooners crooning from the speakers, bodies entwined in lazy worship, kisses tasting of Merlot and mending. But euphoria is fleeting in suburbia's underbelly. The betrayal's echo lingered, a low hum beneath their harmony. Christian caught himself scanning Tom's old coffee shop haunts on runs, half expecting a ghost. Adam deleted apps obsessively, muttering about digital detox. Counseling helped, a queer-affirming therapist in Oakland. Sessions via Zoom where they unpacked the fracture. "Trust isn't rebuilt overnight," she said, her voice calm as chamomile. "It's daily bricks." They committed date nights enforced, no-shop Sundays for board games and brutal honesty. One evening, over Scrabble tiles, Adam spelled vulnerable. I's vulnerable indeed. I hid the Tom meets because shame. Thought it'd look bad. Christian laid down trust, fingers brushing his. "No more hiding. We're in the light." The human toll surfaced in unexpected waves. Edith, the treasurer, knocked one overcast afternoon, bearing lemon bars, Karen's recipe, a peace offering wrapped in foil. "She was my bridge partner for 20 years, she confessed, perched on their wicker chair, eyes red-rimmed. Believed her sob stories, divorced, kids estranged. But this? Forgery for spite." Christian poured tea, listening as she unraveled Karen's genesis. Small-town Texas transplant, clinging to old ways amid California's tide of change. Her hatred a shield against her own unraveling life. "Hate like that eats you hollow," Edith said, crumbling a bar. Adam nodded from the doorway. "Doesn't excuse it, but explains." They hugged her goodbye, a tentative thread to the board's remnants. Karen's trial loomed in winter's grip, pre-trial hearings painting her not as villain caricature, but a woman frayed at the edges. Testimony revealing debts from her realty slump, emails to a pastor railing against the gay agenda eroding our streets. The prosecutor called it a campaign of calculated cruelty, flashing slides of altered docs, ink analyses damning as DNA. Christian testified once, voice steady recounting the notes, the fear that coiled in his gut like barbed wire. Facing her across the courtroom, Karen's eyes, once granite, were dulled, defeated. No apology, but a flicker, regret, or just resignation. Adam squeezed his knee under the table. "You slayed." Public opinion swung sympathetic in patches, op-eds in the Chronicle decrying HOA tyranny, but letters to editors from conservative enclaves decrying woke overreach. Protests flickered. Rainbow signs at the courthouse. Counterpickets with crosses. Adam organized a vigil. Candles in mason jars lining the community green. Neighbors sharing stories of microaggressions past. Mr. Hargrove spoke. Voice cracking. Fought Nazis in 44. Didn't expect them in my backyard. The Patels lit diyas. Flames dancing like defiant stars. Christian read a poem he'd written, verses of fractured pickets mending into prisms. Love as the glue. Applause washed over him. Adam's pride a beacon in the crowd. Intimacy deepened in the quiet aftermath. Vulnerability forging steel. Winter solstice found them at a cabin in Tahoe. Snow blanketing pines like forgiveness. They skied clumsily, Adam tumbling into drifts, Christian hauling him up with laughter that echoed off peaks. Evenings by the fire, s'mores sticky sweet, stories spilling, Adam's Ohio boyhood, hiding crushes in football cheers, Christian's California wanderings, sketching surfers to capture fleeting beauty. One night, stars wheeling overhead through the skylight, Adam knelt, not with rings, but words. Marry me? Not for papers, but promise. Christian's yes was a sob, their embrace a hearth against the cold. Spring thawed the scandal's chill. Karen pleading guilty to misdemeanor forgery, community service, probation, a fine that stung but didn't break. She sold the McMansion, vanishing to Reno, leaving a void the new board filled with progressive bylaws. No discrim clauses, pride flags encouraged. Maplewood bloomed anew, art walks Christian curated, legal clinics Adam volunteered. But the echoes persisted in subtler forms. A neighbor's averted gaze, a kid's innocent question, "Why'd the mean lady hate you?" Christian answered with drawings, teaching that hate's roots run deep, but love's deeper still. As wedding plans sketched on napkins, backyard affair, Oaks's canopy, the past whispered one final test. An envelope arrived, postmarked Reno, Karen's handwriting, shaky. Inside, a letter, no apology per se, but confession. Fear made me forge monsters from men. Wishing you the home I couldn't give. Christian read it aloud to Adam on the swing, voice wavering. Human. Ha! Adam folded it carefully. Yeah. Doesn't erase, but heals. Their kiss sealed it, soft as petal fall. Romance not in grand gestures, but in choosing grace amid the grit. Yet grace has its tempests. As vows loomed, a shadow stirred, not Karen's, but one closer, Tom's return, slinking back with a job offer from Adam's firm. Fresh start on his lips. The echo of betrayal reverberated, threatening to crack the foundation once more, forcing Christian to confront if love's echoes could ever fully fade. Wedding fever gripped Maplewood Hills like a benevolent virus. Invitations hand-stamped with wildflower motifs. Neighbors volunteering for potlucks and playlists. The Patels promising samosas by the dozen. Christian and Adam's ceremony, set for a June sunset under the backyard oaks, promised to be the suburb's redemption arc. String lights twinkling like fireflies. Vows exchanged on the grass where poppies now bloomed unchecked. Christian sketched the scene obsessively. Tables draped in linen, bouquets of lavender and eucalyptus nodding in the breeze. His artist's eye weaving dreams from doubt's detritus. Adam handled logistics with lawyerly zeal. Color-coded spreadsheets for RSVPs. His grin boyish when Christian teased. You're nesting harder than a robin. Life's rhythm steadied into something sacred. Mornings tangled in sheets. Coffee shared black and bitter. Evenings on the swing. Debating guest lists while fireflies scripted Morse in the gloaming. The betrayal scar tissue stretched taut but held. Trust rebuilt in increments, like a mosaic from shards. Therapy sessions tapered, their therapist beaming via screen. You've alchemized pain into partnership. Christian believed it. Most days, when Adam's hand found his across a crowded room, thumbs stroking knuckles like a litany. Tom's reemergence was a rogue wave, crashing without mercy. It started with an email from Adam's managing partner. Tom Riley applying strong refs, willing to relocate. Thoughts? Adam showed Christian over breakfast, bagel crumbs scattering like omens. He's clean now, DA cleared him of complicity. Says he wants to make amends. Christian's fork paused mid-air, eggs congealing. Amends? After the coffee strategy that nearly gutted us. Adam's eyes pleaded. People change, Chris. Forgiveness is our jam, right? The word forgiveness landed like a stone in still water, ripples distorting the calm. Debate simmered for days, Adam arguing redemption's arc, Christian the risk of reopened wounds. It's not about him, Christian said one night, pacing the studio, brushes abandoned. It's us. What if he brings the poison back? Adam pulled him down, onto the paint-splattered rug. Then we excise it. But excluding him, that's letting Karen win from afar. Their lovemaking that night was tempestuous, urgent presses, gasps edged with argument's fire, bodies affirming what words couldn't yet. Tom arrived in town like a penitent, coffee in hand at a neutral cafe overlooking the bay, waves chopping gray under May's overcast. Adam went alone first, reconnaissance over lattes. Christian joined the second meet, heart armored in denim and resolve. Tom looked diminished, hair graying at temples, paunch softened, eyes dogged with contrition. I was weak, he admitted, voice rough as sandpaper. Karen leaned. I bent. The coffees? Plotting. Yeah. But also escaping my own mess. Wife left. Kids distant. Made me a fool. Christian studied him, searching for guile. And the emails? Sounded cozy. Tom winced. Edited by her, context ripped out. Swear it. Adam nodded subtly. Christian exhaled, the knot loosening a fraction. Prove it. Stay clean. Tom's hire passed muster. Probationary filing grunt work. No client touch. Maplewood buzzed neutrally. Second chances. The newsletter opined, quoting MLK. But Christian's unease festered, manifesting in wedding jitters. Nightmares of vows interrupted by phantom forgeries, waking sweat-slick beside Adam's snores. It's Echo, he confessed over trail mix at a planning brunch with the Patels. Mrs. Patel squeezed his hand, bangles jingling. Storms pass. Beta. Loves the umbrella. He clung to that, channeling anxiety into art. A mural for the school. Queer icons in vibrant strokes. Harvey Milk smiling. Marcia P. Johnson fierce. The storm broke at the rehearsal dinner. Backyard aglow with lanterns. Laughter bubbling over craft beers and Hargrove's barbecue ribs. Tom arrived last, bearing a bottle of Napa Cab, gesture of goodwill. Handshakes exchanged. Stiff but civil. Christian even cracked a joke about no more plot twists. Plates cleared. Toasts raised. Javier's dad praising Adam's advocacy. Edith reminiscing on bridge nights sans malice. Then, wine loose. Tom pulled Adam aside by the grill, voices low. Christian, fetching napkins, overheard fragments. .ou. Karen's letter. Mentioned you. Karen's letter, the one from Reno, shared only between them. Christian's blood iced. He stepped forward, shadow falling long. What letter? Tom flushed, stumbling. She wrote me too. Apologizing, sorta. Said you two inspired her to reflect. Adam's words at the hearing stuck with her. Adam's brow furrowed. She mentioned me? Tom nodded, oblivious to the fracture. Yeah, how you fought fair. Made her see her hate was fear. Called it a wake-up. The revelation landed soft as confetti. Not shrapnel, Karen's poison. Diluted to confession. Christian's chest eased. He clapped Tom's shoulder. Thanks. Means something. The wedding dawned crystalline. Sun gilding the oaks like benediction. Guests milled, 50 strong. A tapestry of lives. School families in sundresses. Adam's firm in chinos. Hargrove in his dress blues. Christian waited in the guest room. Suit tailored sharp. Bowtie askew until Adam fixed it with a kiss. Ready. Born for it. They walked the aisle hand in hand. Javier scattering petals with glee. The officiant, a drag queen friend from the Castro, booming with joy. Vows poured forth. Adam's, you taught me home is a heartbeat away. Christian's, you painted my world bold. Rings slid on. Simple gold bands etched with intertwined roots. The kiss drew cheers. Confetti swirling like joyous snow. Honeymoon was Big Sur, clifftop cabin. Ocean roaring approval. They hiked trails slick with mist. Bodies weary but souls light. Picnics of cheese and figs amid wild mustard. Nights blurred into starlit confessions. Tom's okay, Christian admitted, head on Adam's chest. Echoes fading. Adam's fingers traced his scar. We silenced them. Intimacy was rediscovery. Slow dances in the kitchenette, laughter echoing off waves. Return brought normalcy laced with growth. Joint therapy for the neighborhood scars. Art classes Adam joined, smudged and swearing. Tom's integration smoothed, barbecues sans subtext. His divorce tales humanizing the man. Karen faded to footnote. Her service hours at a local shelter rumored to include LGBTQ+ outreach, redemption's quiet crawl. But horizons hide storms. Fall brought a letter from Adam's past. An ex from law school, now a judge in Ohio, inviting reconciliation for old times. Harmless, or siren call, Christian's trust. Hard won, quivered. As leaves fell like warnings, they faced the ultimate conflict. Not external foes, but the internal tempests that test if love's vows can weather the soul's uncharted gales. Fall's palette deepened Maplewood Hills into introspection. Gold's mellowing to amber. Winds whispering through willows like half-forgotten regrets. Christian and Adam's marriage was a fresh canvas. Strokes bold with honeymoon afterglow. Fridge notes scrawled love you more. Walks hand in hand past Hargrove's frost-kissed tomatoes. The cabin's echoes lingered. Oceans roar in their laughter. Big Sur's wildness in lovemaking that felt like coming home to oneself. School hummed for Christian. His mural unveiled to parental awe. Adam's caseload included pro bono for HOA reform, turning pain to policy. The ex's letter arrived innocuous. Tucked in junk mail, thick cream envelope. Ohio postmark. Judge Elias Grant's seal embossed like a crown. Dear Adam, years blur, but memories sharpen. Visiting SF for a conference. Dinner? No strings, just catching up. Here's Eli. Adam showed it over pumpkin spice lattes, brow arched in amusement. Law school flame, intense, but ancient history. Broke my heart, then his own. Christian sipped, masking the twinge. Dinner sounds. Nostalgic. Adam's eyes searched. Jealous, at ease, but probing. Christian shrugged. Light. Wary. We've danced this dance. Adam kissed his temple. No dance. Promise. Wary bloomed to worry as details emerged. Eli's rise meteoric. Rulings progressive yet shadowed by tabloid whispers of personal indiscretions. Adam waved it off. Water under the bridge, but Christian's sketches darkened. Figures reaching across chasms. Hands grasping air. Therapy unearthed it. Abandonment echo, the counselor noted. From the eviction, the betrayal, now this ghost. Christian nodded, journaling feverishly. Trust isn't blind. It's chosen daily. Adam read it aloud one night, voice thick. I'm choosing you. Always. Their embrace dissolved walls. Bodies a testament. Tender explorations. Sighs sinking like vows renewed. Eli's visit coincided with a neighborhood harvest fair. Booths hawking cider and pies. Hayrides rumbling past jack-o'-lanterns. Adam met him downtown. Neutral ground. Oyster bar overlooking the Embarcadero. Foghorns moaning like old lovers. Christian paced home. Phone silent. Brewing chamomile to steady nerves. Return brought Adam flushed. Not from wine but confession. Dinner was fine, shop talk. Mostly. But he apologized. For ghosting post-grad. The hurt. Christian's gut twisted. And Adam cupped his face. Told him I'm married. Happy. End of story. Relief flooded. But questions lingered. Why reach out now? The conflict crested at the fair. Eli appearing uninvited. Tall. Silver Fox handsome in tweed. Weaving through the crowd to their booth where Christian manned a face-painting station. Javier's cheeks tiger-striped. You must be the husband, Eli boomed. Handshake firm. Eyes appraising. Adams raved. Christian painted a smile. Bristles steady. Likewise. Cider. Small talk flowed, law anecdotes. Ohio winters, but undercurrents swirled. Eli's gaze lingering on Adam during hayride chats. A hand on his elbow for old times. Christian's jaw ached from clenching. Javier's innocent, mister. Harper looks mad, pierced like truth. Confrontation brewed that night. Fair lights fading to jack-o'-lantern glow on the porch. He's circling, Christian said. Voice raw. Adam recoiled. Circling? It's politeness. Words escalated. Christians, you're blind to flags. Meeting Adams, you're projecting ghosts. Until tears carved tracks. Accusations hanging like smoke. I can't lose you to echoes, Christian whispered. Adam deflated, pulling him close. You're not losing. But I need space to prove it. Space meant a guest room night. Christian sketching solitude till dawn. Dawn brought clarity. A walk alone. Leaves crunching underfoot. Bay fog lifting like veils. Christian texted. Coffee? They met at the cafe. Mugs steaming. Honesty pouring. Eli stirred old fears, Adam admitted. His apology validated the pain I buried. Christian nodded. And mine? The eviction made me fear every shadow. Dialogue danced, vulnerable, unarmored, ending in clasped hands across the table. We face ghosts together, Adam said. Christian's yes was fierce. Eli departed gracefully. A final email. Saw the light in you both. Grateful for the reminder. No echoes, just closure. Maplewood's fair wrapped with bonfires. Flames leaping as neighbors shared tales. Hargrove's war stories. Patel's migration myths. Christian and Adam danced slow amid the circle. Bodies swaying to fiddles. Wedding bands glinting like stars. Winter solstice marked the year's turn. Candlelit ritual in the backyard. Intentions whispered to flames. Growth. Grace. Karen's shadow. Once monolithic. Now footnote. A holiday card from Reno. Scrawled Peace KW. Her service evolving to ally work. Tom's nod at Christmas lights. Proud to be here. Betrayals transmuted. Tom's to mentorship. Eli's to catalyst. Spring unfurled with renewal. Adam's promotion to partner. Christian's gallery show of Suburbia series, sold out. Reviews hailing raw humanity. Their first anniversary dawned with pancakes and promises. A road trip to Yosemite where granite monoliths mirrored their resilience. At Glacier Point, overlooking valleys carved by time, Adam knelt anew. Vows round 2, Christian laughed. Yes, tumbling free. The true humanism bloomed in giving back. Adam's clinic expanding. Christian's classes for at-risk youth. Murals adorning community centers. Maplewood evolved. Bylaws inclusive. Flags rainbow and red, white, blue side by side. No fairy tale polish. Micro slights lingered. Doubts whispered. But love's drama lay in the choosing. Daily. Defiantly. One evening. Swing creaking under stars. Christian leaned into Adam. We forged our own documents. Truth over forgery. Adam's kiss was answer. Deep. Enduring. In America's heartland sprawl, where pickets hid fractures, their story etched a quieter gospel, not perfection, but persistence. Love, dramatic and human, won not by slaying dragons, but by tending the garden after. And in that tending, they found home, not in walls, but in each other.